Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chew Strong Podcast. Friends, thank you for letting us join in on your day. Now, I have talked to a lot of people in the last week because I got to do a lot of face-to-face up in Canada. I've met people around town, and people have shared with me, and also in live, in mail, physical mail, what they are doing when they are listening to our podcast. There was somebody who just sent us, Eddie, this amazing, we had an amazing mail haul. Eddie went and picked up, we got a stack of letters. Shout out to our friend who found a yellow envelope. But we got this box sent to us from, I believe this one is from New York. And she said she listens to us while she makes soap. Ooh. The aroma that's coming from this box is amazing, and so grateful. And look at how beautiful this is too. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see the Bright Hope Soap Works. That's the name of the company. It smells amazing.
Seize the day. I like that.
Seize the day. SEAAS. So this was sent to us today, and she said in her letter that when she's making soap, she listens to the podcast. We also had an artist.
What's her name?
Who?
Oh, it's on the letter.
Let me pull that out. There's lots of letters. I'm hoping that this is this goes with Christina Cottle.
Got it.
And Christina Cottle has an incredible story. And I'm not sure if I think someone said today, hey, you can share my story in your podcast. I don't think it is this one. I don't think it's this one.
Shout out to Christina.
Yeah.
Thank you for the soaps. Thank you for listening.
Thank you,
while
Christina,
you're making the soaps,
for your incredible story that you shared with me too. Not that it's important, but I teared up. That touched my heart, pulled at some heartstrings. I have to tell you, Christina, and to everybody who has sent something to me, when we went and got it all today. Eddie went and got it today and brought it to me.
Thank you.
It really was just what I needed.
Yep.
And I'm going to dive into that later because, we'll talk about that later. But I really do appreciate you listening to us, friends, whatever it is that you're doing. So sewing, making soap, an art, what is this? Ceramic. This is a beautiful ceramic piece of art that is going to go up on our wall. But we have our runners who have started running, and Eddie, I am envisioning where we've just come back from. So we have come back from Banff, Canada, and the fall colors were hitting hard.
So nice.
I felt like we were walking around in a fairy tale book.
You know what? It was, yes. Did you see behind you and behind me the color that is representing in this room? It's Canada colors.
Yeah.
I'm just full on Canada.
I thought, wow, we're bringing the heat with the red, bro.
No, it's for Canada. It's for Banff, Alberta.
Eddie's been singing the Canada national anthem.
I have.
Eddie, go ahead and just.
Oh, Canada. I don't know the rest, actually. Actually, I do know a lot of the words.
Go on, come on.
I did
at least
sing.
know a line or two. Make the Canadians proud.
No, I did sing quite a bit of it, actually, at the Flames game. I was surprised, actually, how much I
Was that
I
a
knew
flex? You were just kind of inserting that in there?
When I was at the Flames game,
Sitting right behind the box.
Yeah.
The team box.
Okay, let me just break this down real quick. Because
Are you going to back it up?
No, I'm going to break it down. Break it down, not back it up. So I went online and I was like, okay, here's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Isaiah and I are going to get Sally's hair for about 8 hours.
Okay.
So I found out that there is a game in Calgary.
Do you want to attach a little piece of information to that? Like why
what?
we were in Banff and why you need to get out of our hair?
Okay.
Do you think everyone listens to every episode?
Well, I was breaking it down. Now I'm going to back it up. All right. Let me back it up.
You need like 3 sentences to intro what your story here.
Okay. Sally was speaking in Banff on Saturday. So she needed Friday to kind of fine tune stuff. So
Yeah.
Isaiah and I took off about, I don't know, midday on Friday, drove the hour and a half to Calgary, and we went to the Calgary Flames game. So when I was buying the tickets online, on these, Ticketmaster, StubHub websites, they give you an idea of about where your tickets will be if you bought the tickets, and it gives you a picture.
Okay.
So I was showing Isaiah, I said, man, these are actually really good seats for the price. So we got those tickets, and when we got there, I thought that it said row 4, and when I double checked, it said row 3. So I was like, oh, well, a row closer. That's great. So we start getting closer to our seats, and we ask the guys, like, hey, can you show us where these seats are? So he points down towards the glass, and so we kept walking. And we kept walking. We're like looking at each other. We're like, I think we're like really close to the ice. And we like get even further, and it was the front row. So front row 1 starts at number 3. We didn't know that. So we were literally on the glass for the game. Epic seats, amazing seats.
Right.
We got to see the sweat off the guys coming off the bench, and them talking to each other, the trainers right in front of us, coaches. It was quite the experience.
Hockey games are so fun. I love the energy that they bring. I love the drama and the fights and the slamming up against the glass right there. It's so fun.
It was a preseason game, so there was no fights. There was not a lot of passion, but
that's why
it
I
was
didn't
still
go.
hockey. No, it was. You were not invited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's just
it was guys' night.
tell it like it is.
Guys' night, and we had a blast. So we learned a lot about the stadium. Or the place that they play, called the Scotiabank Saddle Dome, which apparently is going to be out of commission very quick. I guess they broke ground on a new place, and
that's exciting.
Yeah, this place is going under because I guess it's pretty old, but it's had a lot of character and long lines for the bathroom.
Yeah,
it was fun though.
What kind of food did you eat while you were there? We get a hot dog?
So we
sody?
had a large popcorn. And then we had sodas, yes. And then what did Isaiah had yogurt, I think. Because we just had dinner right before that. So we were just getting kind of snacks.
What'd you guys have for dinner? I wasn't invited to that either.
Actually, you were there. I can't remember what we had, but we literally had dinner with you.
Really?
Yeah, like we ate early and then we took off.
Oh,
it was like an early afternoon dinner, I think.
Yeah. Like maybe in town we grabbed some pizza or
something I can't remember. But
That's
anyways.
so funny.
All that to say is that these lights are kind of just
back to the lights.
back to the red lights.
So we're feeling really proud of
the setup here.
Your lighting setup. So got to highlight that, guys, one more time. Well, I'll tell you what, you sitting in the very front row, is that the first time in your life doing that at a sporting event? Because tickets like that here in the United States would be very expensive.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
Actually, not to flex at all, but no, that's not my first time sitting on the
glass.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying,
excuse me.
I'm just being honest.
Big time.
I'm just being honest. But in a different country, yeah, that was my first time. No, you actually were there with me on the other time I sat on the glass.
Oh, it was when someone else bought us the tickets.
Yes,
because I was like, since when did an elementary school salary allow you to buy front row seats unless you have a different bank account I don't know about? So that's a whole nother can of worms.
Well, the Calgary seats were the same price that I spent last year going to the LA Kings game with Isaiah, and we sat way up.
Yeah, and that was like the big Christmas present.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the big Christmas
again,
present.
this was a preseason game, so it's a little different, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad you had that experience. It was really important that we brought Isaiah with us because I missed him so much when we were away from Mammoth, and then you left for like 5 days to be in Mammoth with me, and we were like, we're not leaving him again. So you're missing school and all the things, but it was really good. Great experience. First time out of the country for him.
Yep.
And then, just being able to be in those mountains. We got to go to Lake Louise. I know our Canadian listeners want to know all the places we went. So we stayed.
That place is amazing.
We stayed at the Fairmont.
Oh, that place
Banff.
is amazing too.
That was. You and I said the nicest place we'd ever stayed at our life. Like we'd never. And the thing is like we were there from Friday to Tuesday. And even during that whole time, we still probably didn't even see half the hotel. I mean, I never saw the pool. There's lots of restaurants. I think there was a bowling alley in there. There was so much to do, and they had all these activities every day. I was not expecting that. So the reason why I was going up there was to speak to the Alberta Association of Optometrists. It's their yearly conference. So I got to speak to, I don't know, almost 500 people. It was an incredible experience. And that's where they put us up.
Yeah.
So what a gift.
Yeah, it was.
I kept saying that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really love any opportunity that I get to speak. But even better is being able to bring you and Isaiah with me to enjoy the experience. And so we tacked on 2 days. So that we could kind of, explore the area a little bit more. So, we went to Lake Louise. Right there, there was, what was that, Sulphur Mountain that we went up to, which is a really funny story because we took the gondola up. I wanted to climb it. That's not Isaiah's thing. He wasn't really into that. And you guys had cameras and stuff. You guys were having a lot of fun taking pictures. And so we take this gondola up. And as we're going up, I can see the switchbacks going up to the summit of this mountain. And I see people on it. And my soul slowly starts to die because I'm thinking about being on this gondola to get to the way to the top. And when you get off the gondola, and I know a lot of people understand that this is kind of more of the touristy mountain.
Yeah.
You get off at this big, beautiful building that has like 3 restaurants in it. It has a coffee house and a store. And then this beautiful, very well taken care of wooden bridges and stairs and patios that lead all the way to the summit.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. It really is completely accessible for all people to get to the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Now, I am not used to getting to a top of a mountain like that. And I'm just getting all the feels. I'm like, why? This is really weird. And I'm looking at Eddie and Isaiah. I'm like, everyone keeps telling me I need bear spray. Mm-hmm. Canada has grizzly bears. I'm not used to grizzly bears. And we went on this amazing community run the day before. We did a very impromptu, if anyone's in the area in Banff, and we had a great turnout. I think we're going to have to throw a picture, maybe a little video up there of everyone that came out. Thank you so much for those of you that came out last minute. I think everyone traveled in for it. But a lot of, while we were running, people are telling me their grizzly bear stories. And I'm like, yeah, that's the animal I'm afraid of. Yeah. And the route that we had chosen for that group run was just around like the river, and we stayed low and flat because I wanted everyone to be able to come. So if people had kids, they could bring their kids, and it was just a little 8K run. But people had bear spray for that, and so I'm at the top of Sulphur Mountain the next day with Eddie and Isaiah, and I'm like, do you think I need bear spray? But I cannot go back down on the gondola. It is just against how I'm built. It's a beautiful sunny day.
You were about to pass Gap and Bear Fools. You were ready. Ready.
No, listen, true story, friends. Y'all can laugh at us. Eddie and especially Isaiah. Like Isaiah his heart has just got this big, giant, caring heart. And whenever I do anything, he is always very concerned for me. Yeah. Like ever since he was little, very concerned. In fact, 1 year I watched that Everest movie with him. Yeah. And I've always been really fascinated with Everest, just as a whole. I mean, I don't, people have asked, like, do you think you would ever do that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's expensive, and especially at the state it's in now, it doesn't really pull at the heartstrings. Yeah. But this was a while back, and he watched that movie with me, and he just looked at me with these big eyes and said, Mama, promise me that you will never, ever, ever go to Everest. But whenever I do like 200s and stuff, he's always concerned.
Yeah, he is.
And so he's looking at me at the top of Sulphur Mountain, and he's like, Mom, like, I don't know, like, you should be really safe, and you don't have the bear spray. And it was just so sweet. But so all 3 of us went into the gift shop, and I, with Isaiah standing there too, I pulled an employee aside and I said, hey, do you think I need bear spray to run down from the mountain right here back down. And he's like, oh no. He's like, we haven't seen a bear here in like a few months. And to be honest, it's such a highly trafficked trail. You're going to be fine. And, hoping that would give Isaiah some relief. It also gave me some relief too. Like, I don't know what's going on there. The other thing is, a year ago, very tragically, a couple was killed by a grizzly bear.
Yep.
While on a through hiking trip. Very, very sad story. And so it was not good that I had read that the night before.
No,
you know
that's not
how
good.
you do that? Like you read these things or you watch something in the news and then it's like in your mind and then it just like plagues you and instills all these like fears and worries, which should not live there. And it's easy to take other people's experiences and think that's going to happen to me.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of things that you do right before you're supposed to do something, like, hey, Sal, let's get up here and let's record this podcast. Next thing I don't know, you're cleaning the entire house with some like handheld dust buster. Like, yeah, that's going to take like 4 hours. Get up here. Let's start. It's like, that's not the right time. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So, I was doing that. I got my Black & Decker dust buster and doing that. But here's the thing. So Eddie and Isaiah, they had all their camera equipment. So they took the gondola down. I was like, peace out. I will see you at the bottom. It's like a 5K down.
So you left us and right when we got in line to go down. And I don't know if you remember, but right when we were getting in line, we saw where the trail comes up.
Yeah.
And we saw these 3 older Asian, cute, like.
They were so cute.
Yeah.
They were.
But they were.
This is amazing.
They're hard to tell how old they are because the Asians do such a good job of looking young forever.
I know.
So I want to say they're probably in their 80s because.
Yep, I would suffice it to say.
Yeah. And they just like.
And petite and just had the gear.
Yeah.
They
had the
gear.
poles, and you're like, did you guys just come up the 3 mile? Like, yeah, we just got up. I felt so like, okay. I'm embarrassed. I could not. I would. Yeah. Anyways.
Oh my gosh! And I said to them, I go, "Did you guys carry bear spray?" And the woman looked at me. She's like, "Bear spray?
Really?
No." And she laughed, and I was like, "Oh man." Yeah, they were awesome. They like gave me all the confidence in the world.
They gave me confidence,
and
I wasn't going down.
and it was pretty awesome. So, I'd say within the first kilometer descending, I passed over 40 people.
Did you really?
Yes.
There was that many people?
There was kids and I mean, it was so fun. I had such a great time. So, I guess some other key places we went to, we just kind of went like immediately in the area and, trails in the area. We did not hit all of the places. I want to say thank you to everyone that took the time to message me, to write comments and give us suggestions of all the places. I think when I go back, because I will. I mean, next year I am going back. I think I have a speaking engagement there next September.
You do, actually,
which we don't have to dive into. But yeah, I will go back. But I would love, I think I said this to you, Eddie, I go, the best way for me to do this is with a group of trail runners because I don't know the area. And one thing that's always been very important to me, because I do travel a lot and run all over the place. And, there's been times when I've gone to other countries and for the most part, I've always been very comfortable running by myself. I always try to do research before I head out on a trail. And if it is a new trail for me, I usually try to go at the busiest time of day. I try to pick a trail that's like the most exposed. I mean, I have all these like little details that I stick to. But, in this situation, like my only concern always was just the wildlife.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to climb up every single mountain and run up every single trail. And I think next time it would just be great to be able to run with people because I think sometimes when we only maybe do longer routes like in races, it's really easy to forget the fact that there has been a week before the race, a lot of traffic on that trail. So there are people marking the route. They are clearing the route. They're making sure it's ready for the race. You have a lot more people on the trail. And then the day before, like people are getting stuff ready for the aid stations. And then when that race starts, it's loud.
Yeah.
There's people, there's volunteers, there's media, there's more vehicles nearby, and I think that wildlife doesn't like that. So you're not gonna historically you don't see a lot of wildlife in ultras, and I'm not saying that you never do, because we have we've heard of races. It's been a couple years on the Western States Trail where there's been bears at the end. Heck, every time I went out for my training camps this year, I always saw bears out there. But I'd say for the most part, there's not going to be animals that want to hang out and wait around for runners. So they're going to make their way out of that. So, yeah, I think the exploring part is, it's good to do it with someone when you're in a new area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember when we met that group at Downtown Sally in Banff, Alberta that morning.
Eddie's so proud to have found.
I'm very proud
to have found this place, because Downtown Sally,
but once we got there, I realized
amazing.
there was down the street, there's Eddie's Burgers. I'm like, dang, we should have went there.
And this brings me to my next point, Ed.
Well, I'm not done with my point.
Can we move there?
On. Okay. Sally wants to move everywhere she goes.
Were we
Literally.
out walking, and did I look Zillow? I did.
Of course you did.
I did look at Zillow.
Of course you did.
There was a house that was just right there, right in town. We quickly learned the price to live in Banff is similar to here in Huntington Beach.
Expensive. Yeah, but my point is, and was, until I was interrupted again, was, when we were sharing like, oh yeah, we have 2 days to kind of explore, and that group was just spitting off so many different trails and lakes and things to do. I was like, oh my gosh, like there is just so much to see there. And we did not scratch the surface.
Shout out to Canadians for being gritty.
Shout out
Here's
to
the
them.
thing,
Yes,
and
you're
anyone that lives in harsh winter conditions. When I say harsh, or just like you're in the winter for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have winter for 7-8 months out of the year. I mean, there's snow and it's cold and it's icy, and they got to deal with all the things.
Yep.
And the first day the first morning that we were there, so we arrived on Friday.
Yeah.
The next morning, part of the of my contract was actually doing a 5K run with any doctors that wanted to show up.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: my amazing husband keeps
go
my
on.
Yeah,
what?
You keep my schedule, okay? And
Yeah.
which I need Eddie to help me with this, because when I go to speak, there is one thing on my mind the entire time, and that is just what I'm going to be speaking about, because I put my whole self into that. And so I was practicing it. I was praying about it. I was going over like my notes and the pictures and all of this. Like when I think of like, oh, there's a group run, it's like so casual to me in my mind. It's like, because obviously you're not going to go do a workout. Like this is a community
there
fun.
to talk, there to hang out, there to
chat,
run.
like to chill. Okay, 2 things, my friends. 2 things that, had I even glanced at the schedule. One, the run was at 6 a.m. Okay. I don't know what part of me was still thinking that it was summertime.
Yeah.
And that it would be light out at 6 a.m. 2, we are in the Rocky Canadian mountains.
Yeah.
All right. There's a little bit of dusting, a little bit of snow that has happened the night before, and even some rain. I mean, it is near freezing conditions when we get up. So I have no headlamp when I show up.
Rookie move.
2, when we arrive to this group, and giant shout out, I really hope Monica Bell is listening.
Yeah, Monica's
You
awesome.
are a rock star, Monica, and I just have so much love for you. And look, if you are watching me on YouTube, I actually just took it off just now because it kept on banging on the ground. But Monica got me this mountain bracelet after I spoke. But
Super cool.
Monica, she led the group run, so she was one of the doctors there, and just the most giant smile at 6 a.m., pitch black, freezing cold. And I'll tell you what, every person that showed up this morning was ready and raring to go.
Oh, yeah.
No one was tired. No one needed coffee. And the plan was to do 5K. You know what happened when we hit that turnaround point for the 5K? Monica said, we're doing 10K. And you know what? everybody did the 10K. And here's the thing. This wasn't a jaunt around town. This was straight up the trail.
Yeah.
And the first half of that run, everyone's talking about bears. I'm like, can we? Okay, let's hear all the bear stories now. But it was really neat just hearing how grateful they were to running with a group on the trail, because they're like, yeah, you know, you don't do this a lot, like in the dark, for one, but two, the impending snow.
Yeah.
So a lot of the conversation was, we are about to get hit with a lot of snow. A lot of us are going to be either running on, you know, treadmills, or just running will look very different. It's not going to look like this, running up a trail with a group. And so great energy that morning. But I was very impressed by their greediness. Now, when the next group, so the next morning, Sunday morning, we had, you know, anyone that was in the community that wanted to come and say hi, it was like, let's go run and have some coffee, like two favorite things, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think oh man, I should look up his name. I know he tagged me, but there's a 19-year-old kid that drove 3.5 hours to come and say hi. And we had a yellow hat. And I said, Eddie, let's give that to this kid. So he's 19 years old, run his first 50K. He's planning to do a 24-hour race. And I thought, wow, that is just so amazing. I had a nice little conversation with him. But I got to have a conversation with everyone that was there.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Every runner, I can say, gritty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stuff that they do is just, it's mind blowing. And the way that, I mean, some of them are like, oh yeah, if it's negative, you know, 20, we still get out here and we run. Like, that's amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't experience that here. So, loved the running community in
awesome.
In Banff. I'm very excited to get back there again next year, and experience another part of the Canadian Rockies and be at the running community again. But this was a really cool experience just all around, and then being able to bring you and Isaiah along for the ride was something really special. So again, thank you to everyone that reached out.
Yeah.
That was so kind with your messages, and for those that wanted to be there and that weren't able to be there, that really meant a lot to us, because it was just such a last minute thing. I remember walking into the coffee house and I was like, oh yeah, like I really thought we'd probably have like 2 or 3 people, and that was awesome to see.
Yeah,
it
was
out.
cool.
So,
It was cool to meet everybody for sure.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Ketone IQ, a clean shot of energy with no sugar or caffeine. When you take this in the morning or before a workout, you just feel more focused and energized in a good, non-jittery way. In fact, Ketone IQ, they work with top Olympic athletes like Des Linden, to Michael Andrews, to Ironman world champion Sam Laidlow. They also just launched a supplement and research partnership with Team Visma Lisa Bike. You can save 30% off your first subscription order and receive a free 6-pack of Ketone IQ when you visit ketone.com/Sally. That's ketone.com/SALLY.
All right. We did not, I think you were going to talk about this, but you didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't. This is amazing. Now, y'all know how much I love art. I personally, in my family, I come from a long line of artists, and you know, my brother is amazing with the paintbrush and drawing and all of that. But you know, I have such a great appreciation for people who create with their hands. I love that. It's fascinating. It's not anything that I'm good at all, but like I think over the years, Eddie, we've been sent some really beautiful pictures and drawings and watercolors and sketch, and we are putting together an art wall of all of it. And it is written letters and art. It, you know, handcrafted art is my all-time favorite thing ever. Way more than jewelry. So jewelry, clothes, and all that. This you just can't compare to the original. Like someone like sat and crafted this. Like they thought of me and they thought, Sally is gonna like this, and
It's a cool yellow too. I like
It's
that
a
color.
cool yellow, and it was just, I just think it's just like the most thoughtful thing. So, you know, this is a very, very special piece, and I'm pretty sure this is the one we're allowed to share, right? Okay, well, I do just need to give a shout out, no matter what, to Jess. This is from Australia.
Australia,
okay?
yes, yeah.
So this was mailed from Brisbane, Australia, and the story that Jess told, and the connection, we have some similar stories that kind of like crossover from our childhood, and so she shared a lot of that, and it was just so precious. And then she talked about doing her first 100K, 50K, all the things, like all these things that she's making, just leaps and strides in the running world. And it was really sweet because at the end she says it was National Braveheart Day today. And so this piece of art means so much more.
Yep.
And so Jess, I really hope that you hear this episode. I want, if you can get on YouTube and see
show
me
it off.
holding
Let's
up
see this thing.
your beautiful work of art, this beautiful yellow piece, and on the back she's put "Choose Strong," and there's I can hang it right there. But I look at this and I just like, this is sometimes how I see light coming through clouds. The sun is not a perfect circle.
Yeah.
Right. And so it has movement to it. It has flow. It's brilliant. And it makes me smile.
Yeah.
And
super cool.
knowing her story, and just knowing that she used her hands to make this was very special. So here's the thing. Last night, we all have hard days. And, I think listeners, as we are entering into the holidays, and Eddie, we've talked about this too. Sometimes the holidays are really hard for people. And particularly as it comes to family or loss. I think we all know somebody, and maybe listeners, you personally have experienced loss during the holidays, and sometimes that makes the holidays hard. Whereas for some of us, we have brokenness in our families or in relationships, and so the holidays can be hard because of that too. And so I was just starting to think about like the season that we're in, and a lot of these letters that have been coming in lately. This is, well, I shoved a whole bunch of them here, but this is just a few that I have that really mean a lot to me. I thank you so much for sharing your stories, friends. And, very little of what people share with me has to do with running, but really it is kind of touching back on the stories that we share here, some of the content that we put out, and people talking about my book as well. And, I felt like in this past week, and I'd say like just even in the past few months, I've hit some kind of like rough patches. I think, everyone experiences this, whether it's in business or in relationships. I woke up this morning, Ed, and I was feeling a little down. I was reminded that, there's some people that are disappointed in me, and really because I wrote my book. And it's interesting because, that was one of the reasons why it took me almost 20 years to finish my book, because I was so concerned about pleasing everyone, about who I was going to disappoint or who wouldn't like it or who would interpret it in the wrong way. And it did take a lot of courage to write that story. And at the root of the message, it is a message of hope, of forgiveness, of overcoming. And it's the truth of my life, and how and where I came from, and really why I operate in the way that I do today, and why I care about certain things so much. Particularly really wanting to build a business that's rooted in loving and encouraging others. So, I really believe that our stories are our lives. All the hurt and the pain and the loss and the failures and, trauma and what is a part of every human life. I mean, that is like where we connect. Like we connect in our losses, we connect in our pain. But I also believe that it is not in vain. And sometimes it takes a lot of years to see how it can be used for good, whether that's to increase our capacity for compassion and help somebody else, or empathize, or be able to sit with other people as they go through hard things, or to one day be able to use it as a way to encourage others that they're going to be okay. And I think for the rest of my life, I will always kind of hit low points as it pertains to, situations like that, like feeling like I'm a disappointment. I think that was a running theme as a child, like always feeling like I was this massive disappointment. And especially after, losing my mom who loved me so much, and really having to navigate that as a child. And now as I'm older, now as I'm a mom, and I look back on all those stories that I feel like, we hear this so often when people go through hard things. It's not uncommon for whether it's family members or people that are close to them to make them feel like, you didn't go through that. That wasn't real. That's not validated. That's not true. And I remember when I was writing my book, like doing that so much. And then I realized, I'm like, yeah, this is literally how I always felt, though, that this isn't a big deal. No, that didn't happen. Yes, you deserved all of that. And it was a hard thing for me to really understand and to unpack. And now, of course, as an adult, I'm able to see it a little bit more clearly. But my hope in all of it has always been to see people and to say that I see you in whatever it is that you are going through. And I think that's a way that I can use that story, is to have that empathy and that understanding, and hopefully to help other people be strong and to be brave. And not only that, it's okay to have a story that's hard. It's okay to have a story that's sad. I know for me, I hid that story for a long time. Eddie and I, he didn't know a lot of, I knew him for a while, and he didn't know a lot of my story. And what that ended up doing was, if anything, it hurt him, because it was like, wait, I thought we were good buddies, and you've hid all this from me. And he had shared a lot about himself with me. And, I think my story, on one hand, it was something I was ashamed of. It was something I didn't want to be judged about. It was something I was confused about. And, it was constantly going back and trying to make sense of it all. Like, what was this for? And how do I move on from this? And I think that, there are just some things in life that can't be fixed. And I think that's where, when we hear people say that life is both beautiful and painful, it's the pain and beauty in life. And, for me, I really believed, in order to be a good, healthy mom and wife, the best thing for me to do was to forgive and move on, and to focus on healing and stopping a pattern that had been there for a very, very long time. And, I don't think that we can ever please 100% of all the people in our life. Like, that's just the truth in life. You look at Mother Teresa and Jesus Christ. I mean, they had enemies and critics too. And so the idea that everyone is going to be happy and I have to please everybody and, live in this constant state of anxiety and fear and trauma is just not true. That is not for the life meant for us. And so, I've grown a lot over the years, and I've had to embrace moments in my life where I say, this is not for you to change. This is not for you to control. This is how it is. And this is their opinion and their thought and their life and their choices. And you have nothing to do with that. You have to let go of it. Let other people live their life. And, for some of us, we have relationships where people let us know that we're worth fighting for, that we're worth getting to the bottom of something. We are worth the conversation, and we're worth investigating the truth. And sometimes we have people in our life who don't believe that, and sometimes that can be really hard, especially when you're trying to heal and you want resolve and you want answers, and sometimes you just don't get the answer. And sometimes there's never an apology, and sometimes there's never a recognition of your pain and your hurt and what you went through. And I think that what has been healthy for me over the years is to step outside myself and look at situations that happened to me in my life and say, this is something that I can let go of. It is what it is. I can't change it, but I can definitely do a lot of good with my life. I can let go and lay it down. I can forgive even if someone never says they're sorry, and I can love. And I think that brings a lot of freedom, and that is truly how the book ends. It's forgiveness brings freedom. Mm-hmm. So all that to say, I'm still human, and I have my moments. And my enduring, wonderful husband, Eddie, you have always been there as just an incredible encourager in that. Eddie grew up with wonderful parents who, have always loved you and supported you, and they're amazing grandparents. And, your family's been my family since I was 18. So, very, very grateful for that. So I think that, in these situations, it was just super interesting. So I was having like a low morning. Eddie went to the post office. I'm actually going to throw up a picture up here of the pile that he brought back home. And I started opening up the letters. I started opening up these boxes, and I just started crying because a lot of times it's easy, and even aside from this, even if you're not in the same situation that I'm in, but when you put your whole heart into something and you really believe in your work and you're trying your best to do good, I think that, our best work is when it's rooted in love, when it's rooted in wanting to pour out into others. Like that's like good work, that's fulfilling work. And I was just feeling like, man, that's like what my book was. And it was very hard for me to write that. And every letter that I wrote, that I opened up, and these gifts that I got, every person started off by saying, thank you for writing your book. I might start crying right now. Not all the letters we've gotten historically are that. I mean, a lot of people talk about the podcast and the documentaries and just, different things that I've written over the years on social media. Sometimes they're talking about the app or maybe an interaction we had, or sometimes people just feel like they need to share their story with me and what they're going through. And all of that I appreciate so, so much. But I just had this moment of, and I said it to you, Eddie, I was like, man, I feel loved right now. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to say thank you to the community and to those of you that took the time to write. You never know when you sit down to write something to someone. And this is why I love the written word so much, because my favorite gift, the last thing I got from my mom, was a written letter. And I thought, man, I've read that letter so much over the course of my life. And I write letters to my kids all the time, and I love writing letters to people. And it's just so powerful to see someone's handwriting on a piece of paper, knowing that they sat down at a desk or, a writing table and just thought, I'm going to craft my thoughts and my heart and this letter. And, I envision, taking out the piece of paper or the card. Someone went to the store and picked out a card, and they picked out the yellow envelope or, a sticker. And someone put on yellow heart stickers on one of the envelopes. And it's so precious. Like, that's such a massive gift.
Yeah.
And, to see how the book has positively affected people all over the world. We do get emails and letters frequently about that. But man, I got an outpouring of it this morning. And I think the best thing that I see over and over is people feeling free. People feeling like, okay, I can revisit this. Okay, I can have a conversation with this person, or thank you for making me feel validated in how I have felt. There's also a lot of pain that people still feel, and but the hope and the forgiveness that's wrapped up in these letters, I mean, that really warms my heart, and it brought me to tears today. And it was just kind of like that reminder of, you know what, Sally, you don't need to be disappointed in yourself. You're not a disappointment, because if I do want to put out good work, if I want my work to be rooted in love, then I don't need to be concerned with the reaction.
Yeah.
Because that's what unconditional love is.
Yep.
It's not rooted in what reaction am I going to get. It doesn't matter if I get a compliment or a criticism. When you work with all your heart at something, you build it, you create it, and then you let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's in the hands of the receiver, however they choose to interact with that's on them.
Yep.
And sometimes you're going to get people that are going to love it, and they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to see it for what it is, and they're going to feel your heart and your love in that. And then sometimes you're going to get rejection and criticism and pain. And I think that is part of life for all of us, and I just want to encourage you listeners, whatever season you are in, whatever it is that, feels really scary and uncertain, that you're working toward, I want to cheer you on in that. But most importantly, I want you to know that whatever hard thing that you have been through in life, it's not in vain, and not something that you should be ashamed of. I think we had a chance to talk to somebody, Eddie and I, yesterday, who had been in prison for 9 years. And sometimes I actually do get letters from people that are in jail. But man, he couldn't stop crying, and like it was hard for me to like hold it together.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a very like physically, like visually very strong man, and to just feel like his heart in what he was sharing. And I think Eddie, you and I talked about it afterward. I was like, I know that there's still like a little bit of like hurt and shame and probably guilt in what he feels. And to be able to look people in the eye, even if you meet them for the first time, and remind them like, you don't have to stay there. Mm-hmm. Like, how cool to go through all that, overcome it. And this guy's doing amazing. He's so successful now and has an incredible family, and he's doing all these wonderful things in the community. And so I was really trying to highlight that, but I think it just brought me back to just our humanness, like life hurts, and forgiveness is very powerful, but it's very easy for us ourselves to be hard on ourselves, to have that regret, to live in that shame, to live in the past when that's not where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be always moving forward and know that, life is going to be filled with, with some pain, but it isn't in vain. And so that was my morning, Ed. And I'm just really grateful for our community.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? As your husband, I am glad that you felt love this morning, but more importantly, these true strongers, I know that they're glad that you're feeling some love too, because I know you do a good job of loving all of them so well. So it's good to give it back.
Thank you.
To you. So
I appreciate that. This episode is brought to you by Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Now, one of the things that I really love about this is that it can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/Sally to get 15% off your Lumen. That is LUMEN.me/Sally for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode.
all right. Well, thanks for sharing all that, Sal. What about, can you give us an update? I know we had a meeting yesterday with John. Oh, not John. Why am I blanking on his name? Jason and Brandon.
Yeah.
Over at Camp Greer. And,
we have had a lot of meetings in the last 48 hours, so it's okay.
And the Old Fort, North Carolina, Asheville area. And what's cooking? What's latest? What
I'm really excited that I can finally say what this is. I had to wait for details to be finalized, but I shared earlier about my friends, Brandon Thrower, who's the race director of Tanawa Adventures, and Jason McDougall, who's the executive director of Camp Greer in Old Fort, North Carolina, which is where Hurricane Helene hit especially hard. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of families right there in that area. Jason and Brandon talked about 50 families in particular who lost their homes entirely. They have nothing. Mm-hmm. Now, on the daily, Camp Greer is dishing out hundreds of meals. They are allowing people to come onto the camp. So you can come on to Camp Greer. And Camp Greer is an amazing camp. So they are an outdoor youth camp. Isaiah's gone to the camp a couple times. Yep. And they do all kinds of activities. So you can send your kid there for a week and, they can do mountain biking and rock climbing. And this is like how I met Jason, was he asked me to do a trail running component for the kids. So, and this is many years ago. And after that first year of doing that trail running camp, Jason and Brandon were like, we should do adult trail running camps. And so for many years, I traveled, sometimes twice a year. I many times did a fall and a spring camp. It's just right outside of Asheville. I love those Blue Ridge Mountains and Mount Mitchell and just all the areas, surrounding there. And I don't think anyone loves the trails more, knows the trails better than Brandon Thrower, which it makes sense that he puts on several races in the area throughout the year. But these guys are like my family, And I have big love for them and what they do. I really love Camp Greer because part of their initiative is bringing in kids who, might not typically have the opportunity or the privilege of going to summer camp. And so they have scholarships. And so typically 50% of the kids that are there in the summer are kids that are there on scholarship and get to experience this amazing camp. So just everything that they're about is incredible. And my heart's been very heavy. I think it's really easy, especially here on the West Coast, to feel like, what can I do to help? And I think we've had a lot of disasters just in the world as a whole. And it's easy to look at it and be like, wow, there's 1 million people affected. This is going to take a year of rebuilding. And, it's easy to think too, well, gosh, what is my $20 going to do? And so I got on the phone with Jason and Brandon, and we came up with this idea. On December 7th, we are going to do a race at Camp Greer because it's a massive property.
Yeah.
And they actually do a 5K there during the year. And in fact, Jason had built 20 more miles of trails off the back end of Camp Greer. And as a result of that, there was 17 more businesses that were built. There's coffee houses and breweries, and the old fort was really starting to grow. And so I thought, let's do something to give back, what is it that we could do to really make a big dent? So Brandon, being the incredible race director that he is, said, let's do a 6, 12, and 24-hour race. Jason thought it would be super cool to add on a bike component. So you can either do laps on the bike, which is a separate route, or you can do laps as a runner. It's a 3.5-mile route. It has 700 feet of climbing, which is just wild to me. I love it. So it's a solid route, but they're also going to do a virtual race. Now, by registering, they are asking that you commit to fundraise. I think it's a minimum of $1,500. Really what this is using our endurance, the gift of running, to help people rebuild their lives. And it's just using running for something greater, something greater than ourselves, and to make a real and lasting impact. The other reason why I really like this is because, you can go on campgreer.com right now. We have all the links in our show notes, both to sign up for the race, but also just to give. And you are giving and you are directly helping people that they're helping there. So they have a volunteer log, which I think is filled up for the next couple weeks. People go and they work 12-hour shifts. They're providing food and water, lodging. It's very impactful. And I'm getting updates every week. So Jason and Brandon are like family to me. And I will be heading out to North Carolina, December 6th to 8th. I would love for you, friends, to join me. Whether you are there in person or you are there virtually, this is going to be something that, we will highlight. We're going to have a live stream. Anton Krapishka, or Tony as some people also refer to him, he will be there. And I'm a big fan. Huge fan of Anton. He's legendary in our sport. So Anton and I will be doing an event the night before the race. We'll do a panel, a speaking panel. There's going to be a lot of small businesses in the area that lost their buildings that will be there. So I think there's going to be food trucks and small businesses selling things. And it really is going to be this really cool event, just a coming together. So the event is called Old Fort Strong Endurance Festival. And whether you are there to do the race physically, or you can do it virtually, or you can just give, we would love for you to be a part of it in some way. Yeah.
Sounds like an awesome opportunity to help out.
And
connect with other people and run.
I mean, I've always felt like the ultra running community is made up of some of the best people,
special people,
and we're very lucky to have this community. It's where we find some of our best friends. It's where we come alongside each other when we're struggling in a race and we don't know if we can make it. But we can apply everything that we have learned in the sport and in our community and help beyond that.
Yep.
And that's really what this is.
All right, there you have it. December 7th. We will put the link in the notes here so you can, donate, or you can sign up for the 6, 12, or 24-hour run or bike.
Yeah, or bike.
Or bike. All right, Sal, I'm moving on. And as I always do, I like to read a couple reviews. And so I got 2 lined up today. One is from Spotify, and this one is from Laser Mama. Laser Mama on Spotify said, "Thank you so much for your inspiration, Eddie and Sally. After listening to this episode and being motivated by Eddie's finish, I took my Chew Strong hat out for its inaugural run. I was able to run the farthest I've ever run outside without stopping, 6.5 miles.
Wow. Are we giving
Laser
credit
Mama, that's what
to
I'm
the
talking
hat?
about.
Is that because of the hat?
I don't think
or-
it's the hat. I think she's motivated by my finish of the marathon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
come
just
on. Let's give
recenter
credit
it.
where it's due. And then she said, I was only going to run a 5K, but I pushed on. I proved to myself that I can choose strong and overcome whatever stands in my way. Thank you for the motivation and the laughs along the way. This is my favorite podcast to listen to. Laser Mama, well done on that 6.5, but thank you so much for listening to us. Appreciate that. Yeah. And good name, Laser Mama.
Laser
I
Mama.
like that one.
Laser focused.
Laser focused, Mama. All right. And the next one is from good old Apple Podcast from Eric Fan 1. Eric Fan 1. Eric Fan 1. All
You're
right.
having fun saying that.
I love the names. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know.
I love the names. All right. Eric Fan 1 says, I have been running for 40 years, and I love running or working out as I listen to you guys. As someone who has slowed down a lot in these elder years and maybe not felt good enough to compete anymore, I love your candid commentaries of your races. It really feels like I get to train and compete with you. Sally's laugh and positivity and Eddie's sense of humor get me to smile and just enjoy my workouts. Grateful to still be moving.
Aww.
Thank you for helping all of us to choose strong.
Thank you, Eric Fan 1.
Eric Fan 1. You got one fan over here, Eric. Let me tell you. Sally, are you a fan? Maybe it's Eric Fan 2 now.
Eric Fan 2, yes. So good. That was very kind.
Yes, Eric. Thank you, buddy. All right, moving on to some highlights, Sal. I chose 3 again. Again, this is always one of the most difficult things that I have to do to prepare for these podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do a lot. I'm not going to lie. But when I have to prepare, I have to only pick like 2 or 3.
That's hard.
And there's like 103 out there.
Because when we go into the Facebook page, into the Strava group, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. You're right. There are people doing all sorts of awesome things. People emailing in things that are,
I get pretty motivated. I
do too.
I need to highlight just straight up because these groups just aren't about running.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
And I think you had highlighted this before, or maybe it was something you and I shared. See, Eddie and I, we're so funny. Like, we do a lot of screenshotting. Like, you see this? You see this?
Yeah.
And there is a family with their kids. They're all working out in the garage.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that isn't about running. It's just like, wow, that's like you got the whole family working out together.
Yeah, yeah.
That like the whole family doing anything together
Right?
is a triumph right there. I mean, that is a grand achievement. And
sitting down together for a meal is like, wow, that's a huge achievement. When everybody's schedule's going crazy.
Right.
But to get a workout in together too, that's a bonus. That's we gotta
especially
applaud that.
depending on how old your children are, because kids, especially when they're like 4 years old, they take a bite of a chicken nugget and they got to go do a cartwheel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
this idea of sitting down at a table just to eat, right? I think
it's a huge victory.
I there was a lot of frustration when our kids were like 1 and 2 and we're like, let's go out to eat, and then usually it would end in a fight, or it was what a waste of money.
Why did we do that?
Why did we do this?
We won't be doing this again. And then we find ourselves the next week and try it again for some stupid reason.
Because we needed to get out of the house so bad. Lately, Eddie and I, I have to highlight this really quick, but we we like to sit at a coffee house. A lot of times we'll sit and like talk about the podcast and like notes or just do business work. And one of our favorite things is to see the mom that clearly needed to get out of the house as fast as possible. And she's got like her sweats on, hair is
messy bun maybe,
a messy bun. The kid's still in their pajamas. Diaper looks a little heavy, and she's just like ordering the biggest latte that can happen. But here's the thing: this is not making fun, my friends.
No,
moms,
this is
not
real
making
life.
fun. Because Eddie remembers how often I would do the exact same thing. You're like, nothing in the home is working. Like it is fit after fit, mess after mess, and I'm literally gonna rip my hair out. So you know what? We're going to Starbucks.
Yeah, my favorite. That's a great one. But my favorite is Dad when he rocks. He
comes in.
He comes
with the baby
in,
carrier.
Oh man, no, he's coming in and he's just like, you can tell he like had a horrible night's sleep, right? He's rolling in with a stroller and he's got one on his hip and he's like. The third one's like back there about 10 feet, like doing something.
And mom's like, if you don't take the kids and get out of the house,
mom's not there.
We might not. You might be sleeping on the couch tonight.
But the kids clearly just woke up, and like the kid in the back that's 10 feet back there has only one shoe on. The little girl's like talking to the stranger on the that whole. I love that.
So good.
Scenario.
Oh, I applaud.
So I've been there.
I applaud the dads. Oh yeah, I mean, when I first started pursuing ultra running, the agreement, really it was the compromise that I had to make was if you were going to go and run for 3 hours, I am taking the kids to McDonald's for the entire time.
They
and I
will
was like,
get fluffy pancakes.
No,
from McDonald's.
You are not putting McDonald's into my little babies. And you're like, no, they will play. They will play on the playground.
That's right.
And they will eat pancakes.
That's
they will be happy.
I still get flack to this day for doing that. Anyways.
Hey, sometimes it's what you got to do. There was a lot of rules that I had before I had children. You just want to be like all natural, organic. Like I'm never going to bargain with my children. I'm never going to do anything like this. Like these are the rules. This is what we're going to stick to. And this is the peace and the calm and the natural. And like everything's going to be a home cooked meal. Laundry's going to be done.
About 3 months in, you rip up that playbook. That's out the door.
You are
and
bargaining.
You're like, I'm winging it.
You are bargaining anything that you have in your house just so they will go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're like, you can have $100.
Yeah.
Like, please just stay in your bed.
Yeah.
Stay in your bed. I'll take you to Toys R Us tomorrow. This is when Toys R Us was still around.
Wow, yeah.
Like, you can pick out any toy. Remember that?
That was the best.
You and I, like, we'd put the kids down like at 7:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was like golden.
I remember, 7:30,
we could
and
not
then I made
wait.
a pot of coffee.
We would have a pot of coffee,
At
my friend.
7:30
No
p.m.
joke. You and I consumed, like, we talk about how much coffee we have now.
No, we
10
had
times
a lot more.
More coffee. Like, there was always a fresh pot going. And those younger years, man, like.
It was because there was just something about when the kids got to bed and you hear the coffee dripping, you start to smell it. It was like, all right, I can breathe. I can, this is going to be a good night,
You and I were like, that was our date night.
Yeah.
That was it. It was, and we would watch 24.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Okay, listeners, do you remember that show when it first came out? So when it first came out.
What year was that? That was probably like 2000.
It came out like when I was pregnant with Mackenzie. So 2006.
Yeah, 2005.
And I remember, so firstborn, brand new
like
parents. Do you remember? Mackenzie was only like 2 months old. And it was Memorial Day weekend because you were still a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably watched at least 30 episodes.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that whole weekend. Yeah.
And after every one, we'd be like, okay, last one. And it would be like 3:00 in the morning.
It was.
We were obsessed with that show.
I had to get up at whatever to go teach. I remember there were some days that were like, oh man, that was. But then I couldn't wait to get home because I knew we were gonna like watch them again that night. I don't know what about that show was like so good.
Oh, it was so intense.
They did a great job of like cliffhanging that next episode, so you like had to watch it.
You think that that's his best friend, that they're just like this. They totally trust each other. That's what it is. It's
Those
like
writers are genius.
It's like the trust issue. Like, who do you trust? Who do you trust?
Yeah.
And then it's like, bam. And I could never like sit through like the torture parts. Like, I would literally have to leave the room, or Eddie would have to fast forward it.
Yeah.
But it was always us trying to guess like who was going to betray and who was to be trusted. And the storyline was so good.
Yeah, it was captivating.
So that's like signature. When I think of 24, I think of like we were brand new parents at that time.
Yeah, yep.
And then the coffee nights was we had 2 children. We had 2 children in less than 2 years, and the only date night that we could have most frequently, because it was a gift.
Yep.
And we saved it up when we could get your parents to to watch the little ones, because both of your siblings also had kids at the same time. So it was like, get in line.
Yeah.
But you'd put that coffee pot on and the kids would go down.
Some good memories
gosh,
right
it
there.
was just good memories. Like, what show are we going to watch?
That hazelnut, like, Coffee Mate.
Gosh, the coffee we drank.
I had so
we
much of
basically
that.
drank Coffee Mate and added some coffee to it.
I think that is why I gained so much weight in that time of life.
Oh my gosh.
I felt like I just consumed gallons of that, like, Coffee Mate.
We
stuff.
also
It was
went to
not
Chili's
good.
quite a bit.
I ate a lot.
We ate a lot of ice cream.
I was not.
We were in our
healthy.
20s when we had our kids. I mean, it was when you go from 20s to 30s, there's this weird transition where you're like, wait, I'm still in college. I still want to eat the way I did in college. And then you hit like 34 and you're like,
wow,
that hurts.
I have a lot of weight to lose. Yeah.
And that's when P90X came into the scene.
Yeah, then it was game on. But
Yeah.
man, prior to that,
When are you going to do that again?
I'm not doing that again.
That's what oh my
not doing
gosh.
that again.
I want to meet him. You know
Tony?
this speaking management that run, the roster that I'm on. He's on the roster.
I saw
Tony
that.
Horton.
I
We
saw
got to
that.
find out a way to meet him. I want to listen to him speak. That guy brought the energy for 90 minutes.
I feel like he's one of those guys that does
Inspirational.
not need coffee.
No.
Like, he is like, I've obviously never met him, but if we were to meet that guy, I feel like he would just be talking so much and just like
there's just those
bouncing
people.
off the wall. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
He's like Jamie Alexander. Shout out
Yes.
to our good friend Jamie. We love you. I feel
Yes,
like
love
Jamie doesn't
Jamie.
always need coffee.
No,
It
Jamie's
is
another
just-
one of those guys that just brings the energy.
Super intelligent, brilliant, but mine like a pinball machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's hilarious
great.
because it's like what's he gonna say next, and it's usually something super witty.
Yeah.
Like you want to listen to everything they say.
Yep.
I feel like Tony Horton was like so good at engaging.
Yeah, he was great.
I think we need to bring that back in 2025. I think we need
think?
to get rid of, of just doing Eddie's goals are a run, and Eddie's goals are bringing back 2008 vibes.
No, I don't think so. I could not
2008
get myself to
vibes.
do that again.
And
not happening.
do you guys hear the challenge in that? He
not
just
happening.
said, "I don't think I could do that."
I don't want to
I
do
love
that.
the challenge.
Yeah.
I can't usually argue the want. Once he says I don't want to, that's when I
Yeah,
know.
Then you know you're
That's
shut
when, that's you can't. If someone says they don't want to do something,
off. Yeah.
I don't have a hook in there.
Nope.
All
All right. So,
yeah.
I'm bringing it back, and I'm going to shout out a couple people in the Choose Strong community here that are doing some great things, that have done some great things.
Oh my gosh!
And
I
let's
literally
highlight them.
thought we already were done with
No,
all
you
that.
you kind of
Did we do that
you
tangent
started
thing
talking
again?
a little bit.
That tangent thing that we always do.
We is an interesting use of. All right, so this one's in our Choose Strong Strava group, and this is from Ramona, and Ramona ran in Germany the Köln Marathon. I'm hoping I say like that correctly, but Koln, and the O has like the 2 dots above it. Is that how you? Anyways, Köln Marathon. So she said, Sunday, my 3rd marathon in the books. My training did not go as planned. Vacation that ended early, then super busy at work. Very stressful time. But I ran darn good, though, the first 25K and started to struggle kind of early at the 26K. But I kept working through it, did the runner's math and realized how far 42K really is. and learned a lot about my strength in this run, but I'm looking forward to the next one in April. So shout out to Ramona in Germany who ran the Köln Marathon there in Cologne, Germany.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And here's the thing, pushing through when it's hard, it just sets you up for something greater for your next one. So I know that a better race awaits. And not only that, you're storing all this data. You remember if you hit a hard patch again, if the next race is hard again, you're like, oh yeah, I got through it before. Yep. I can do this again. We can do this. Eddie, little just a side note, tangent, extra detail in between your next one.
What do you got?
Do you happen to know off the top of your head the size of the biggest pumpkin? It is October. I know we don't have any more youth listeners listening. They've wandered away to the toy room, but this is a fun little detail. What is the biggest pumpkin that has ever been grown?
Like in terms of size or weight?
Wow.
Like you just open it up. Like, are we talking like, hey, we got 6 feet by 3 feet, or do you want to know like
I'm pretty sure that regardless, they would both win in the same category and be the same pumpkin.
No, what if someone hollowed it out and took all the seeds to eat?
Okay, do we have to be so difficult?
I'm just saying.
What's the heaviest pumpkin that was ever grown?
Okay. Heaviest. Let's see. Heaviest pumpkin, I'm thinking...
Okay, you're guessing.
Yes, okay, I don't know.
There's a guess. All right, so let's go ahead and do a guess.
Am I supposed to know this?
How do you not know this? I thought everyone knew this.
I don't know this.
Oh, it's so weird.
Okay, what is the answer?
Well, I want to go ahead and guess.
I'm guessing like 650 pounds.
Okay, that's huge.
Yes, the biggest pumpkin ever, the heaviest. I'm going big. It's 650. What is it?
What do you think is the size of like some of the bigger pumpkins that we get? Like, how heavy are those? Like maybe like 10 pounds, 12
15
pounds.
pounds, yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty solid.
So I'm thinking, 600 pounds. What is it?
2,749 pounds.
There's no way. 2,000
which translates to 1,246 kilograms.
Okay, that's not true. There's no way. That's huge.
2,749
pounds.
Like
a whale.
That is right.
Yes, that's literally like a whale.
There's like that. Way. That would take up this whole room.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's incredible.
Where was that pumpkin from? And like, I want to go.
I mean, not from here.
No, I know, but like, where's it from? Do you know?
I can look it up.
I'll
look that up.
Why don't you guess? It's your turn to guess
what?
now. Where do you think it was from?
Okay, I'll tell you. Tell you.
Find it.
It was presented by Travis Ganger.
Okay.
At the 50th Safeway World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off held in Half Moon Bay, California on October 2023.
Oh, last year?
Yeah.
I bet it's still around. Let's go find that thing. Let's go see it.
Amazing. That's so big. Okay, I have another one for you, but go ahead and go into Amanda.
Right. We're moving on to Amanda. Amanda's from the Facebook group, and Amanda...
Is this Amanda Yagi?
No, this is Amanda Gies, Gies. She
or
said,
Geis.
Or Geis. You know what? These last names really trick me. So
we just what?
Or maybe it's Amanda.
When did you send this snap?
Amanda.
When did you?
Amanda.
Can you see that?
Hey, can we focus here?
You know what? Our kids are on Snapchat, and when Mackenzie left for college, I have snapped her every single day since. She and I have snapped every single day, and I snap Isaiah too. And I have been telling Eddie, you need to get on Snap. That's like how our kids communicate with all their friends. You don't need to add anybody else, but I know that our kids would get such a kick out of it. And he said, no. Like for weeks, he's like, I don't want another social media thing. And Eddie's just not a social media guy. He doesn't want another thing to manage. Well, he started to get jealous.
No, wrong.
He was so jealous because I'd have all these snaps and these videos and like
incorrect.
I knew all this information that he didn't know.
I mean, okay, so the part of being jealous about that, yes, but the incorrect part is all of a sudden I had it on my phone. Isaiah went and created the whole account and started taking pictures.
Well, that's super cute
Anyways.
that your 16-year-old son put it on and wanted to be your friend on Snapchat.
He loves me.
We have a McCrae family group Snapchat, and for those of you familiar, Snapchat has some super funny filters. And when did you snap me that?
I have no idea. All right, moving on. Amanda, she said, my first race, I wore my Stay Sturdy hat, and I had
I
Sally
love it.
and Eddie in my ear, and my daughter at the finish line with her sign. Happy weekend, friends. Always inspired by you all. And she has two really good pictures. Well, she's got one picture of herself giving the peace sign with her Stay Sturdy hat, and then she's got a video of her and her daughter, who is probably around 7 or 8, and has this huge sign saying, go number 1, that's my mom. Really cool.
I love that.
Yeah, so
that.
shout out to
I
Amanda.
love seeing that Stay
And
Sturdy hat
Amanda's
too.
daughter.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. All right, the last one I have is also from the Choose Strong Strava group, and we got Juan in there, and Juan says, I get so inspired by Eddie and Sally. Finally got my Choose Strong yellow hat, and I ran a PR in the Long Beach Marathon.
Look at that.
Thank you guys for being a great inspiration for me and my lonely morning trainings. Choose Strong. So Juan, buen trabajo, mi amigo.
Yes.
Buen trabajo.
I love that.
He titled the reason I did a little Spanish there is because, Juan titled his Strava post there, Carrera por la mañana. So
Run for tomorrow?
morning run.
Oh, yeah, por la
Yeah.
mañana. Yeah, morning run.
So I just tried to give a little Spanish back to him.
Yeah,
But anyways,
I love it.
Long Beach Marathon just happened last weekend.
You've run that a couple times.
I've ran the half marathon quite a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of my first half marathons, and that was where I have so many good stories, because that was when I looked up that one time and the guy in front of me was running in golf cleats.
Oh, yes.
I was like, what is going on here?
And if this guy can do it in golf cleats, I better be
can
able to do
it
this.
in regular running shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of good stories from the half marathon over there. But Juan, this is your moment, my friend. Well done. You ran the Long Beach Marathon, crushed it. And thanks for listening to us and wearing that yellow hat.
Yeah,
as
you know
were
what,
doing it.
Juan? You made a really important comment there, and you said during his lonely training runs.
Yeah.
I had a great conversation today with my good buddy, Nick Bear, and we actually were talking about that. How a lot of the hard work that we do, like that behind the scenes, like the majority of what we do, can sometimes feel mundane and lonely. And
Yeah, big time.
it feels so great to know that people can put us in their ears, and we're your friends right there with you. So thanks for taking us on your run, and keep going, Juan.
Yeah.
Keep going. I know the Long Beach Marathon I have a lot of good memories there as well. It's a local one. What is that,
Yeah.
like 25 minutes away from us? And a
Yep.
lot of people who do the Surf City, there's a
Do that one
series.
too.
The Surf City, the OC half, and then the Long Beach.
Yep.
And don't you have the special medal for doing all of them?
Yeah, if you do all
Look
3 in
at
1 year.
you. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Eddie
I got it.
has a special. He's got the
Got the
triple crown
special
of half marathons.
Triple crown.
SoCal Triple Crown.
That's it.
Yep.
That is my claim to fame,
Yeah.
folks. Right there. There you have it. Hey, wanted to mention, if you are not in the Choose Strong Strava group, to get yourself in there.
Yeah.
A lot, like we were saying earlier, there's just a good chance for when you're feeling not so good about wanting to work out, to get in there and start watching what everybody else is doing, and you get inspired and encouraged. So
Yeah. We
definitely,
don't go in there to compare, but it is
No.
cool. I mean, people are doing yoga and Pilates and CrossFit, and they're biking, and yeah, it's just kind of cool to see what everyone's working towards.
yeah,
So
no, it is.
yeah.
It's encouraging, and yeah, there's another reason too. If you're not on Strava at all, is to just get Strava. And here's why. I don't know if you saw this.
is
Sal.
Strava paying you, and I don't know
No,
it?
they
because
should. They definitely should.
You don't have to get in Strava.
No, you
people.
do, because listen, this is going to confirm, especially if you're single.
Oh,
So I just read this article. I don't know if you saw it. It says, "Goodbye Tinder, hello Strava. Have hobby apps become the new social networks?" It says millions are rejecting the culture war hotspots of the major social media sites in favor of apps dedicated to activities they enjoy while bonding with their fellow users. We were just talking about this, remember?
we were. Well, you know, it's really funny. A friend of mine. That's how she met her now partner.
Ooh, okay.
They've been together for a few months, and they ran a lot of the same routes.
Because I was going to ask
And
something
he had
like that.
commented, I think, when she had run a similar route as him, you know, because you can add pictures.
Yep,
Okay, you can
yep.
add pictures. You can kind of see who's around. If you, depending on the settings that you are allowing,
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can
you're
turn
right.
on flybys. If you have flybys turned on, you can see all the people that ran your route
Oh yeah.
when you ran
Flybys,
it or
yeah.
at any time during that day, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if he was necessarily like stalking her, but I think it was
Hope not. Yeah.
no, it wasn't that. Like I don't know if it was like it may have been from a race. It may have been like they had both run a race and then he realized that they ran like in the same area.
Yeah.
But anyway, they ended up meeting at a race.
Nice.
And then she realized, like, oh, wait, that's that guy from Strava.
That's
and
awesome.
Anyway, they've been together for a few years, like super cute. The story is really sweet, but I love that. I think you and I had talked about one. I was like, I am so glad I am not in the dating world of today because I don't know how I would operate. It would be so awkward. But also, I've always appreciated face to face in any relationship, and I think it's the best way to get to know somebody. And yeah, these apps, but I think it's also hard. Like if you're going to meet someone in college or a bar or a party or, wherever it is, like, I know a lot of singles that say it's hard to meet someone, but this is the new way.
Yes, I mean this article goes. I'm going to read just these little short few sentences. It
Okay.
says singletons looking to shack up with their soulmates online
Wow.
have relied on two key routes in the past decade or so. Take your chance on dating apps or befriend as many mutuals as possible on social media in the hope that you find the one. Now, but some have found a third way. Here's where Strava comes in. It says using services such as Goodreads and Strava to meet partners with whom they hope to spend the rest of their lives. Those couples proved to be trendsetters. So-called hobby apps built around activities such as running, reading, or movie-going are having a moment and not just for love. So it's, hey, Goodreads, you read a book, and I don't know how Goodreads works, but I think it's probably like, hey, I read this book, and I read that book too, and let's chat about the
Online book club.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But Strava is here because, it's a good place to connect with people that are doing some outdoorsy stuff. So, and they have like that message app now, or the message function. And I mean, I was just thinking, like, what if you didn't know me, Sal, and I saw you upload, your Mammoth 200, and I send you a message.
I'm private on Strava. I'm not active
Well, let's say
on Strava.
this is not like real life.
Okay.
And let's say that I saw that and I was like, send you a message. I was like, hey, saw you did that 200 in Mammoth.
And
Hit me up if you think you can do 300. What if
is that how you would slide into my
No,
DMs?
I'm just
That's the winning
this is
statement.
made up. This is made
is
up.
I'm gonna run 100 more miles than you.
This is made up. So obviously, what would you do to that? Would you be like, what is this guy? Like, he's a creep, or like, what a weirdo? Like, what would you say? Like, how would you respond to that?
You can't even keep a straight
I
face
can't, 'cause it's
saying
funny.
this. Like, this is just showing me that you are so far disconnected from the dating scene and how to pick up a woman. Like,
So, yeah,
it's
that's so
really
true.
sad. So, first of all, if I did have to respond to that, I would go and click on your picture. What is your picture right now?
I mean, what if it was me, like, no shirt on, just ripping through, like, some forest? Like,
Yeah.
I'm, like, just hightailing it, man. Like, that
Yeah.
guy's got some good form.
I'd take that picture, insert
got
it
some good
into
arms.
a Google search, and find that it was a
AI.
yeah, it was just a stock photo. Who is this guy indeed? And delete out of my life forever.
Oh, man.
No, but what would actually be the real? Like, how would you even find out about me? Would we like be just both running along the shoreline? Because you don't run trails. So the only way that we would have a flyby or that you would ever like run into me is during a recovery run on the ocean. That's the only time I'm running on the ocean.
Oh, like in literal,
in
like,
literal, like
in
today.
real life.
Like, let's say that you and I were single. Here we are in our 40s, single. And how in the world would you and I meet?
On Strava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd look at the flybys.
Well, no, I mean, you just kind of, I don't know, like you have friends on Strava, right? Like it's
Right.
very intertwined. It's not like some random.
But do you also think that people running along the beach, that they're kind of checking things out, hey, she's pretty
Yeah,
cute.
maybe.
You know,
Yeah, maybe.
she looks good in her tights. I'm going to go like run really fast next to her, maybe pass her super hard. You know, I've had a few guys do that to me on the
that
path.
happens.
It's really funny. And, you know, is
Yeah.
that something that you would do?
I probably would not do that.
No?
No. I don't know what I would do. Yeah. I don't know.
I'd intimidate you, I think.
You probably would, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably would.
I think you'd see me and be like, wow, she is so
She
far out of
is
my league.
Out there.
And then you'd I see where you're going with that. She's way out
She
there.
is way out
Like, she needs to
there.
stay out there.
All right. Well, you know what? If you don't have Strava, here's just another incentive to get Strava because you might find your +1 out there. You know,
might
you
find
never
your
know.
+1.
And hey,
you might
know
find
what?
some weirdo like
might-
Eddie too.
You might find some weirdos too. But let us know if you, besides Sally's friends that she just talked about, if you've met your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife on Strava. Let us know. We'd love to know if that's actually a thing.
Oh,
Because,
I love dating and relationship stories.
like hearing
Every
those
single
stories.
person that if you run with me pacing anything, I want the whole story.
Sally wants it all. Yeah.
That's how Rod woke me up when I was doing the project
You asked him.
Mammoth. It was, I was like, my stomach hurt. I was laughing so hard about his dating stories. I mean, he paced me for like 4 hours and was like, dude, I got to go on a date, but I'll come back at 1 a.m. And I was like, how's that going to go over with her?
pretty
When you're
awesome.
like, hey, date was great. I got to go run with this girl in the forest, meeting
like
up with her
8
at 1
hours.
a.m. I was like, yeah, you're not getting another date, Rod. And then all the details he would tell me like about these dates, like so funny. But
Yeah.
I love a good dating story.
Yep.
You know, it's
Yeah. So
it's good stuff.
if you're out there and you met on Strava, let us know. We want to
Yeah,
hear.
let us-
We want to hear the details.
Yeah, and you know, if you are looking,
Yeah.
if you're a single person, it's
you
like
are
I need a
on the
date
prowl.
for the holidays. I need a date for the holidays. Maybe we should encourage the Choose Strong group.
Oh, great group. Yes.
If you are single and available, maybe they should have like a little like emoji
Yeah.
next to their and it doesn't need to be next to their name. It could just be like next to their workout title.
What would that emoji be? Though?
Because sometimes they're like, hey, I want people to know that I'm single. And it's like when they've run like the fastest ever, they set a PR. They just did like 3 hours in the gym. And like everyone's like, wow, look at how strong and fast they are. And they're single.
Wow,
Yes,
yeah.
that's a winner, right? So it's like the I don't know, maybe it would be a peacock. Okay. I
Okay.
see what I did there.
Yep. Maybe.
Maybe it would be
I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know. What would make sense?
a donut emoji. I'm sweet and single. Yeah.
Donut emoji. Okay. Hey.
We'll think about it. We'll let the community
think about it.
decide.
There we go.
We'll let the community decide.
That's a good idea.
So,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We won't turn the Choose Strong community into a dating group.
No.
But this
That's not a good look.
this is all fun and games. We
It
do
is.
hope that people that are looking for love find love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
I know that's not always easy.
Nope.
Finding a good one, but you know what? Sometimes it comes along when you least expect it.
It's
like
true.
you did.
Yeah,
You did, Ed.
That's right. That's
When I
absolutely
least expected
when I
it,
least
there you
expect
were,
it.
sitting
Boom.
behind me in my English class, and I
Tapping
found
my
out
shoulder,
he lied about
distracting
his
me.
name. So,
Well, that's another story. And to be honest, Sal, it is getting late, and there is a baseball game. If you can see my hat, I'm repping
yeah,
the team.
it's the series right now, guys.
20 minutes. 20 minutes is the
It's
elimination
series.
game.
Let's hope that no one's
So-
thrown anything at each other on the field. Okay, let's hope this throwing needs to stop.
Let's just hope the
all
Dodgers
right?
win.
Well, I think some people listening have some choice opinions.
I don't think there's many
about
San
the-
Diego fans listening.
We definitely have people from San Diego that listen to our podcast.
Yeah, but
so
they're probably Dodger fans.
shout out to our San Diego friends.
I got my Rams shirt on too, so I'm repping the Rams and the Dodgers. Hoping for a good next few days for both these teams. You
Eddie,
know?
when you watch baseball, do you have a snack that's your go-to?
A snack?
Yeah. Do you have like a snack that you like to eat?
You
when
know,
you watch a
when I'm
game?
watching baseball, I mean, I don't know. It's because if I'm honest, I only watch playoff baseball. The season, I follow it like on highlights and on my phone.
Yeah,
but
like
I
ESPN.
can't. I don't sit there and watch. So I don't know if I really do have.
It's more a basketball, football.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a go-to snack on the playoff. I mean, if I was at Dodger Stadium, I'm going Dodger dog all day long. So, but
That's
you
just
know.
nostalgic, though.
oh yeah,
Because how do you feel after you have a Dodger
I do
dog?
not feel good
Do
at
you,
all.
do you know what is in that?
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah. Do
So,
you-
anyways,
do you know? I'm so speaking of snacks. Eddie,
Yeah.
What are the most Pringles crunched in one bite?
Oh
What's
my-
the record that someone has? Because Pringles have that shape where it's actually very easy to eat a whole can of Pringles in one sitting.
Yes, I know.
know?
Yeah, I do.
I
know.
was just setting you up. Is it?
It's very possible. Very possible.
Okay, they have that shape where you can like very easily take a pile.
I know this. Yes, you can take a whole pile.
And put the whole thing in your mouth.
Yep,
Okay.
it's
The
doable.
most ever recorded was 39.
39.
39 Pringles. How? That's a lot of Pringles.
That is. It is, but it isn't. I feel like 39 is like. I felt it would have been higher.
Yeah?
Not gonna lie, yeah.
I'd like to see you break that
But
record. I think that's pretty achievable.
I don't think my mouth is that big. Like you gotta have like it. You have to go like your jaw needs to expand.
And this is most Pringles crunched in one bite. Okay, you can't put it in water.
Crunch. Oh, like
Crunched.
okay. Well,
So
I'm
it's like straight from the can.
I'm willing to try it for sure.
I mean, it would. This is the challenge of the year
That's a big
for
one.
you, and I think
It's
we need to
big.
report back. I think we actually have to do it on the YouTube
I'm in.
during our episode
I'm in.
next time.
Not next time because I need to practice. I need like a month
Okay,
to really
to really
open the
like
jaw.
like practice there. Okay. Well,
So-
friends, we are so happy that you have hung out
Yes.
with us today. I know
Thanks.
it's been kind of a smorgasbord
Those are the
of
best.
of an episode. It really is the
Yeah,
best,
they're-
and because we have a lot of fun facts.
Yeah,
We have a
do.
lot of, very interesting topics that just enrich your life. I'll tell you what, though, Ed, what I have learned is, our podcast, it's not political. We know a lot of we're getting closer to the election right now. There's a lot of political signs all over the place. And
Yes, there is,
you
yes.
consume a lot of that if you want to on social media and on TV and the radio and all of that. And Eddie and I take just so much pride in being a space where you can take a break from that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that's
needed.
not our space, but
No.
like there's a million outlets where you can get that. But if you just want to like sit back and relax with some friends and just have a good like down to earth conversation
We're
that's
your
real,
people. We're here for you.
that's what we're
Yeah.
doing. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and end this by asking you one more more question.
One more question?
This is going to be really fun.
'Kay.
Friends, if you are single,
Okay.
if you're a teacher or a parent, this is something that you can use to, I don't know, make yourself interesting. And you can look across the table at your blind date that you just met
This,
5 minutes
this better
before.
be good because you're setting this up like
Oh,
this
I
is
am.
like the home run right here.
You can stand in front of your second grade class and look out at that sea of kids and pump up your chest and just, I have something to share with you that you didn't know. You're at a cocktail party,
Just what is the question?
business dinner, and you look out
We
at
get it. We get it. What is the question?
everyone around the table and you say, hey guys, did you know that in Ontario, Canada, on September 1989, the biggest, tallest scarecrow was unveiled, standing at a whopping 103 feet and 6.5 inches, which is 31.56 meters. This is a key fact that people need in their life today.
They do not need that fact.
And that scarecrow's name is Stretch 2.
Stretch 2.
Because there was a first one.
That wasn't as big?
That wasn't as big. Can you imagine a
That's so
103-foot scarecrow? That
That
is
would
terrifying.
scare almost every child in that whole
In the entire town.
province.
So you got the biggest pumpkin ever, the biggest scarecrow, most Pringles crunched. I mean, our podcast is basically filled with so much useful information, and
is.
you have left maybe a little smarter, maybe not. But I'll tell you what, you guys, we love you. We loved hanging out with you today.
Yes,
and
we did.
We are rooting for you in whatever goal it is that you're working toward. We are rooting for you just in this season. I know a lot of you are, as we're moving into the middle of October, which is absolutely wild to me. I know people are reaching for that final race of the season. And so if you're still running right now, if you're still in the gym training, I need to say I'm so proud of you. Good job showing up for yourself. And if you are injured or, you've fallen off the saddle or life has gotten really busy lately, remember, every day that you wake up, you get to start again. Okay. So don't count yourself out. Get back on that horse, keep going. Eddie and I are rooting for you in everything you do. And we hope that you keep choosing strong in all you do.